First of all, thank you for your support. Just because of your support and love, I get motivated to create the next session of videos. So let's move it. In the previous session, we have seen that user creations. We have seen like how to create that users. Also, we have seen that user invitations, how to create how to invite the users. We have worked on that. Bulk user creations, we have created the bulk users and we have deleted the bulk users. Now this sessions we are going to discuss about that: manage user and group properties, manage device setting and device identity, manage guest account, create custom role-based access control for Azure AD roles. So let's move it to our Azure portal and then we'll see. Now I'm going to that Microsoft Entra ID. So in this, I'm going to users. Now you can see I have created one test user. Let's see. We will discuss about this. We are going to that test users. Here you can see that test user name is there and user principal name is there. It is a member of type. If he is a member of that this account or he is a guest user of that account, that information, the same information you can see the user principal name here also. It is able to, you can copy it also. Apart from that, object ID of the user and created date of the users when it was created, user type, uh, and user identities. And second thing you can see here, this side, here we can see that group membership is not a part of any group. We don't have any application assigned. We don't have any role assigned. We don't have any licenses and all. So we will see all those things one by one. But before that, let's understand. If we see that account status, you can see it is enabled. It is enabled means that user can log in into that the Azure portal with his user credentials. If we wanted to disable that user, we can just go to here and we can just uncheck this checkbox. The user will be deleted, disabled. And here you can see that I can save it. So as of now, I'm not going to any changes in this. We will see in the later session. And next option is B2B invitation. B2B invitation, it is a kind of business to business invitations. Just for example, we have one business, some of the users are working as a contractor in my company. And if they wanted to log in with their parent organization's ID. So they can just go to invite here and their parent user ID, email ID, and send the message. They will be invited. So like how they can work with the both credentials and both user ID, they can use it in this same account only. Also, if any other our clients or any customer wanted to join uh, our Azure account, so we can invite to that user also. And next option is our edit properties. If you wanted to edit the properties, we can go to here, edit properties, and we can just click on this, and you can see that all the informations will be related to the users. Like you can see the display name of the user, first name, last name, user principal name, member of that users. And if I'm coming to that next options, that is a job related informations like a job title, what user working on it, in which company is working, department wise, employee ID, employee type, employee hiring dates, office locations, manager name or manager ID. We can add the manager also. We can add the sponsors. The parallelly, we can go to that contact information here. You can see that the user address can be added or user office address can be added. Those things we can see it here that like city, state, province, zip, postal code, country, regions, business phone numbers, mobile phone numbers, email IDs, other email information. Next one is our parent control. If it is going to based on that age group, if he is an adult or if he is a minor person, he is not adult or those things also we can add it, but that is not a mandatory. If you want, you can add it. Consent also we can add it here if it is granted, it is denied, or if it is not required for that. Now coming to that next setting, the same thing we can see it here, like how user is enabled here. We want, we can just disable this user and check this checkbox. The user will be deleted and user will not be able to log into the Azure account with his credential. So as of now, I'm going to make it that enable only. Later on, we will see. Apart from that, we can see if any on-premises information is here. So as of now, there is no on-premises information. So that's what we have seen that. This time I'm going to cancel it. This I'm not going to do any changes in this user because this user is just a test user for our understanding purpose. I have created this. The same properties you can just edit it from this side also. If you are going to edit properties, the same thing you can see it here. Or else if you wanted to delete the users, you can delete it users. You can refresh that. You can reset the password. All those things. Let's see one by one. So I'm going to log in with these users. As you can see, I have already logged in with these users. Here you can see with this test user is showing here. And in this, you can see this user is able to log in because that account is enabled. But in case if I'm going to disable that account, just for example, edit and uncheck this. Now going to save. Now you can see that has been disabled. If I'm going to the again to the user account and just trying to sign out and sign in again, sign out and sign in again with this password, user password, and let's see what will happen. So as soon as I'm trying to log in, now you can see that it's showing me the message. It's called as your account has been logged. Contact your support person to unlock it. Then try again. So that means this user is logged out. That is why he cannot uh, he cannot log in into this. So let's enable it the account. If I'm going to again to my Azure portal, I'm going to edit this and just going to enable this and save it again. So now we will see what differences come. I'm going to log in it again, trying to log in. I'm just going to provide the password and sign in. Then you can see this user is able to log in. This user is able to log in this account, but there is a you can see that this user can just see this account page, but he cannot use any instances except that the we can say that Azure Entra ID. That too also have some limited permissions for this user because I did not assign any role-based access control or any permission to that user. That is why it is that user is showing like this. If I'm going to add users, I'm going to create the new users with this ID. So this see here. So now you can see everything is fine. Now if I'm going to again review and create, it is not going to validate. Why? Because this user don't have a permission to create the any user account. So as of now, this user cannot create any user account. User, you can see this user can see that users, and if he is going to change also edit properties, if he can edit the properties, but that is also grayed out. So that means this user cannot edit the properties also to any of the users. Now you can see this is the grayed out. This user cannot edit the any properties. If I'm going to see here the home and here if I'm going to see any other resources, this user cannot use any other resources as well. So, okay, let's come to that our Azure page. Then we will see other parts. Now coming to that monitoring. So as of now, you can see that monitoring is not enabled because our premium license is not enabled for this particular user. If I'm going to the properties, this is what the information based on our information we have added. Those informations can be listed here. If we are going to that refresh and just going to delete, I can delete this user. If I wanted to reset the password, you can see I can reset this user password. So I can click on that reset password. The password will be reset. It will provide the new password, and that password you can just use it for that user perspective. Revoke the session. In this revoke the sessions, what it is saying that this you can say this will revoke for all sessions for the user test user requiring the user to re-sign in for all the devices. So yes, that is correct only. If we are going to resist the revoke the sessions, the user will be logged out from the all the devices, whatever the devices he is logged in. Next one is the manage view. So manage view, we can see how that user can be managed. View perspective, monitoring perspective, properties, monitoring, or overview. So as of now, generally we are in the overview option, so that we can see. Now, if I am coming to that next options like you can see audit logs. You can see here if any log is created related to this user. So you can see that log will show here. If sign-in log is you wanted to see, you can see here sign-in log. It is going to load it now. So sign related logs, you can see the success, failure, interrupted, whatever the issues. And if you are going to that assign roles, so as of now, you can see there will be no role assigned for this user. If I wanted to assign that role, so we can just select it here. Just for example, I can say, for example, I am going to make it him as a user administrator role. So yes, user administrator role, I can assign it for that user. So now you can see user administrator role. In this, what he can do, you can see it here in that description also. It is mentioned like user can manage all aspects of users and groups, including the resetting password and limited admins. I think these things we have covered in the last session also. So like this, we can add it here and we can just provide the role access to that user. Let me add it here. Again, user administrator, and that I'm going to select it and just add it here. So these things already we have discussed about that, guys. Administrative unit. So you can see this guy is not belongs to that any administrative unit. What is the administrative unit? We will discuss in the later sessions. And if you are coming to that groups, here you can see there is a no group members. He is not a part of any group. But if we wanted to make this user should be a part of any group, so we can just go to here, click on add members, and we can select it the group name. If like how you can see that group is created, so we can just add it this user into the particular that then this user will be a part of that particular group. So if I'm going to refresh it, you can see that my group is added here. The same, you can see that applications as of now, no any application is assigned with this username. That is why it is not signed here. If I'm going to the licenses, so for this user, there is a no license assignment is there. If I'm going to check also, you can see there is a no license available to assign for this user particular. Coming to that devices, so now you can see here the devices. As of now, there is no devices added for with this username. So if we wanted to add that devices, we need to go to that system, local system, and go to that setting options. We need to go to that setting options, and after that, we need to go to that account options. Account. In this account, we can just go to the downside where we can just work or school. So in the setting, we can go to that account and then we can go to that access work and school. So here we can just go to and just connect it here. So if I'm going to add it new, so what I need to do, I need to go to the connect options, and then it will ask that email credentials. So what we need to do, we need to just go to that here in the user parts and go to that username. We can just take it the username here, test user, and then we can go to the settings. Here we can just enter that username, go to the next option, and then we can just type the password here. And after this, you will be seeing that the user can be log in, and with the login, the access will be provided that user device. And that user device will be added to that Azure account. Now, if I'm going to see here, just going to close it, or else let me minimize this. And if I'm going to here devices, now again, you see that desktop is added here. There is a lot of things we can add it and discuss it, but video will be lengthy, guys. So I don't wanted to make it that more lengthy because last time it was a 28-minute video. So better we can just disconnect it. I can disconnect it, and later on we can just do that. And then I'm going to refresh it, and then I can disconnect from here also. I can see, I cannot see here because it was disconnected. It is disconnected from the source page. You can see it is not signed here. If a role assignment is, it is kind of, we can say that role-based access control. If we are going to provide the access related to that based on the role only, so we can just provide it. For example, we will see it later. Now coming to that here in the other parts of that user, if I am going to this user, so you can just see that we have seen. I'm going to enable the multi-factor authentication, so I can go to here in the multi-factor authentication parts and just let me log in. Every time it is asking me to log in with that because I have a 2-3 accounts created. So now you can see here that user, I can select it here, and based on this, if I want, I can just enable this. If I'm going to enable this, then mandatorily that Azure will enable that multi-factor authentication for this particular user. Just for example, if I'm going to enable multi-factor auth and just close it, and if you will see that this user is enabled that multi-factor authentication. If we wanted to check it that, then what we will do, I'm going to that again. Let me close this and just come to the user account and just trying to log out and then again log in. If I'm going to log in again with this user, so you can see yes, now it is asking action is required. For that, user should have a Microsoft Authenticator app should be downloaded, and that user should be authenticated with the multi-factor authentication. So this is how we can do it, guys. If I'm going to disable it, let me go to back session and just going to my Azure account. And here, if I'm going to that manage the multi-factor authentication again, I'm just going to select this user. And just if I'm going to that, if I want, I can disable it. I also, or else I can enforce this for that. Enforce this means I can just enforce that user to do that multi-factor authentications. So this time I'm going to just disable it and close it. So now you can see that user is disabled that multi-factor authentication. Now let's move it to that user and just try now. And if I'm going to sign in again option, now it is not asking anything. So this is how the multi-factor authentications is going to work. So multi-factor authentication is something we can say that it is a multiple layer of security. It is going to provide you the multiple layer of securities in that. So that is what all it was for user account, guys. Now coming to that, the groups. So I'm going to the group, and here you can see there is a one group is created. So let me create one new group and show you that what other things will be there. So if I'm going to the group, you can see here we have two type of groups. Like one is the security group, another one is a 365 group. So in this security and 365, any type kind of group I can create it. If I want, I can manage that only the server related tasks or other tasks. So we can just manage that security groups, or else we can, if we are managing the user accounts and other parts, we can go to that Office 365 group. So this time I have selected the security only. Now let me give the group name. So just for example, I'm giving the IT admin group. So IT admin I have created. Here you can add that group description. Just for example, you can mention like this group is created for IT admins only, like this, or anything you can add it based on your. Next one is membership type. It is already assigned. It is grayed out also. It is not going to allow this time for us because it is a dynamic group also. Kind of things we can create it here. Next option you can see the owner. If you wanted to make it that any user as a owner for this group, so we can just make it that user as a owner. So just for example, I'm going to make this test user as a owner of this group. So it has selected, and if I wanted to add the members, that too also I can add it. So now I'm going to create it this group. So let's create it. Group has been created. Now we can refresh it and we can see the IT admin group is created. If I'm going to that download group, there is a group related information like how we have seen in that users. The same manage view also will be same only. Deleted, if we wanted to select the group and go to delete, that group can be deleted here. And apart from that, if I'm going to that IT admin, from here we can see that all the properties of the user group are related information. Just for example, number of users, group, devices, total members, owner, group membership, when it was created, assigned group, everything, all the informations we can get it here, guys. Now, if I'm going to that group properties, you can see that group properties also is written here. You can see the group name, group description, group security type, membership type, object ID. Entra role can be assigned to the group. So as of now, it is disabled and grayed out also because you don't have access to enable the Entra ID roles. Here we can see that the member of that, there is no members. If we want it, we can add it that members. We can see that all the members, what are the members are there. The same kind we can see that owner of that. So as you can see that this user, test user, I have added as the owner of this group. And also we can see here roles and administrator. So there is a no roles is created just because of that licenses is going to restrict this for this administrative unit also. As of now, I did not assign. We will see this administrative unit in the later session. The same thing we can see here group membership. If this group is a part of that any group membership, so we can just select it, or else we can just make it these two group as the members together each of the group, or else we can just move it. This is not required. Application, if any application is assigned for that group, that too also we can check it here. And licenses we can see licenses as I so told. If I'm coming to the privilege identity management, so we can just go to that P1, P2 license, then only it will allow us to get it that P1, P2 licenses, then we will discuss on that. So yes, this is what we have done it in the group levels, guys, and nothing else is here to tell you that in the group. Now coming to that next topic, what was there? That guest account. We create all this access control. Yes. So now if I'm going to that, the role-based access control, and before that we can discuss about that guest users also. So as of now, we don't have any guest user created. So let me create one guest user with my name and invited. I'm going to invite that. I can give the name display name. It is up to you. After that, it is asking to send the invite message. Message, if you wanted to type it, you can type it. If you wanted to add the recipients, you can add it. Apart from that, there is the properties. Properties related informations, whatever you want, you can just add it here. And so like your first name, last name, job titles, authorizations, your employee ID, the same what we have added for that particular local user. Assignment, we can assign that role based on that user, how that user is. So we can just assign that role for that, and we can just go to review and create. So user invitation is going to send it. Yes, it has sent it to my mail ID. I need to log into that mail ID. I need to click on that link. Then it will be confirm that. So if I'm going to refresh, you can see there is one user is created with my name, with the admin name, and you can see this is what that the mail ID of that user. So I'm going to his properties. The same properties we can see it here also for how we have seen in that for the regular user, member users. The same kind of properties we can just go to see, and if you are going to edit it also the same kind of things will be available here. We can just provide that full base access control, administrative unit, group, applications, licenses, devices. All those things can be managed like how we have added for the one normal users, member users. So that's it for this user and groups. And now we have seen about that how we can add it the guest users. Now let's move it to the role-based access control. Just so one example we can say like how we have seen that here this with this test user, and this test user was not able to work on any of that other aspects what we are expecting here. We cannot create any instances. Just for example, if I'm going to search it for the resource group here, uh, resource group, if I'm going to click on this, now you can see it is not going to access. So what we can do, we can just based on this user, I can provide the access or else I can provide the role-based access for him. So just for example, if I have something, if I'm going to that resource group, here you can see I have a two resource group is created. One is created in East US, another one is created in the Central India. But I want that users should have access in the Central India this resource group, but not in the RG group. So what will happen? I'm going to the access control in that RGBNet resource group and then access control in this. Here I can just go to that add role assignment, and in this I can just provide as a privilege administrator role. To privilege administrator role, I need to provide to access this user related to that is Azure resources. So if I'm going to see that, if you remember that we have a user administrator role, we have assigned it for that user. Instead of that, if I want, we have a user access administrator. So what we can do, let you manage users and access Azure resources. So that if I'm going to provide this is the general role for him. So he can access the Azure resources also, but he cannot create it anything. So Or else if I'm going to see that on a row, so you can get it the grant full access, all resources, including the ability to assign role-based access control. This user have, if I'm going to provide the full ownership, so this user will be able to manage all the aspects of that role-based access control or something like that. And second thing is a contributor. If I'm going to provide the contributor kind of thing, so this user can manage all resources, but he cannot assign the role-based access control for that particular users. So let's add it here, the contributor kind of role, and or else let me add it the owner role. I'm just going to here. It is asking that select the member, so I can just select it here, the member. So I'm going to select the testing member, just like and select it. And now member is selected, so I can go to that condition. If you want, you can just provide the condition, or you can just go to that and allow user to assign all roles, highly privileged roles I have created, and just I can review and assign. So let's see if we can review and assign it. Yes, we have reviewed and role assigned for that particular user. Now if I'm going to that user account, this if I'm going to refresh this user, the view will be changed. If I'm going to close this, now you can see this user is showing that this resource group, but only this resource group. This user can see. If you see in my account, it was showing that the two resource group, but here it is showing the only one resource group because based on the resource only I have provided the access control for that user. So now if I have gone through this, now you can see this, I am able to see that this user can see what are the things is created if he wants to create anything also under this group. So he can create it. Just for example, um, this user wanted to create that any virtual machine also, for example. So this user can create the virtual machine, but he can create one virtual machine, but he can create that virtual machine in the particular resource group only, not the other resource group. If this user is going to create the new resource group, just for example, I am going to create the RG-VM. What it is saying that you do not have a permission to create resource group under the subscription free flag. Because I did not give that full access for that user, I have given the access only the resource group label access. That's why this user can select the same resource group and he can create the virtual machine in the same resource group only. If he wants to change that resource group or if he wants to view that resource group, he can't do that. So this is how we can see that always access control also, guys. Now I'm going to the main parts. I'm just closing it this. That's it for watching. Just watching this video. If you like this, please go to like, subscribe, and press the bell icon. So like this, you can get the all videos, whatever the videos I will be uploaded, all the videos update, you will get it. Thank you. Thanks for watching. Bye.